ane Ukraine no Russia na de otosomi ensan so ede osofo AFFUM ahye Nyankopon sa.
Auntie, they may want in Jawai.
Oh, okay, you pacho you. And
Mama Mompa ye. That was it when you mean or for a die da and da. It was a pass what boy home by Abeto Samri. Na buja dear Fusane away muka trema a double dream with there. As a down coten was there the mount. Offer as a down fata ye and tron and come for. Ora yesu ni empire bonus when your mobile fire and phones were chain. Ye ni pay ya bonnet ye dear Fusane baby could be our bonnet. Ya casa ya been ya ni a bibia bonnet. 18 can run mobile fire and phones when you're not chain. Already, why no? Na kayen ho ma won kronkron no ni aye hodne entimi ni aya to sin ni enti aye entimi nko cancer mpai ni enti aye entimi nya wadwuma na urade fa che yenda.
Amen.
We are mobo na tie Yesu frɛ yenin sɛ obɛyɛ na wayɛ so ama nambro so dada yɛda wo ye ne ya hoho a wo bɛsra ye nyinara bo ye nyina ho ban so nkokwan so yɛda wase sɛ watie Yesu frɛ wo Yesu din mu. Amen.
Amen.
Because that was it when I'm too for Radia Oka, a bemuna of shy, that was it.
Amen.
Sir, bringing our Niku home. I won't perceive we are bonny when Sigunam Wakwan so now Biara or church. Oh, when we're near that was it.
Amen.
Radia singing on a book, my mutia my. Nay, a home for us, yet him man sama ye tie ye rade intime fa mo branch when wonyam rade yesro e de Russia ene Ukraine eko a ekoso ye wonsa onyam konkro yesro bremu bi maye rade wo kasa mpuna na ekunu wanwani kasa masa amre asumdwemra e de Russia president ye wonsa Rade de na kuma akotro bia owura uso hina kuma da onsem nti esro boa na esro kana kuma to ne yemaye Rade wo kai bebem nti esro kasa masu dimra na wo masu enya asumdwe esro hu yemobo ne siesie yema ho awie ye brebi Rade awodna de market for no yeso fabiku yeso ni ntimi hye wani wonyambo ni wiase mu na upia pa abeto se fata yeda wase Yesu demuti. Amen.
Amen. Yumpacho ebesre na eja Peter mpacho fa osofo ehye Nyankopon samaye.
Yena rade ya we ya jenkwa ya huhia mu boafo yeda wase anopei se wo won hye pama wo ma na wama ya kwanya na yaba nkwamu ebiem se yemetie wo ho nsem wasem a ma nkwaje anope yeda wase eno amu nsuso no ne yede wakoa a wapaw no se o meka wa hintasem a ede oma eko nkwaje mu ekyeryen no yede na ehye wonsa.
Amen.
Wo de wo na wo nkwaje sem ede emayen nti wakoa ebie na no a yesese obema honhom no ahye ne mama na ode wasem no abre yen sedie esitie anope yese woni madom yese woni inshira yese ubeshira o manyina e wo wasem a ode nam wakwaso ede emayen yeda wase so yempai butifo na utie anope na obehye wakwama ede wasem no na ode wasem no abre yen e wo ya jenkwapa Yesu Kristo din mu nti. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Mami yeka sit na mi inshallah. Obema one hand. Now so for Eddie.
Okay. Yeah, 361. Heart tis the shepherd's voice I hear. Heart is the shepherd's voice I hear. Let's go.
Heart is the shepherd's voice I hear, out in the desert dark and drear, calling the sheep who've gone astray. Far from the shepherd's fold away. Bring them in, bring them in, bring them in from the fields of sin. Bring them in, bring them in, bring the wanderers to Jesus. Who go and help the shepherd kind, help him the wandering ones to find. Who bring them back into the fold, where they'll be sheltered from the cold. Bring them in, bring them in. Bring them from the fields of sin. Bring them in, bring them in. Bring the wanderers to Jesus. Out in the desert, hear their voice. Out on the mountains, wide and high. Heart is the master speaks to thee. Go find my sheep wherever they be. Bring them in, bring them in. Bring them in from the fields of sin. Bring them in, bring them in. Bring the wanderers to Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And amen. Mr. and Mrs. Oduma, Nami, Unshamu Papa, no Yama so Adiembo. Mepaucho Enkoto Sabre, if you have not shared the card now, and I you poster na Mepaucho, see, take 1 minute, 1 second, Nefa a share in my na yina to me and muscle imitate Yame asem. Sabre yourself for you know. Na nyame asra ne mu a anope obekasa atwe ene ya yesofo pastor AFFUM ena anope obedi enim ina enim se na oye Washington for esofo eno nyame menim se oye one of the akukudama omo North America hase and inti people show wuni bi se omra na ye nyina yensum anope na nyame ebe sane ni munyam na obi shirayen di sofo AFFUM Atlanta 7-day Adventist Ghana for and a year chain we nti sabre ye jai platform ma nyame enkan
yo ohima me da wasi bebre nyame enhira won so adofo ne abusuafo megina onyame adom so ene anopai ukoda anopai mechia monyina
Amen.
Enchia eson emfama osofo boachidankwa ene asafo mpanyifo titru personal ministries for ene enhihye papa wahihye na wode ama asafo yi meda won asese wato won sa frame se ene anopai ene enwumre yamra na yame pensen onyame asem yenhwe de onyame asem ewo ade emaye mpanyifo no aye enhihye kama nhihye a omo aye no won botaye a esi won ani so no se omatudin operation loving 10 souls into the kingdom of God this first quarter se asafo ba biara no this quarter you know anka yede isi ani so se yede akra edu ede bre onyankopon enye dwumadi a ewo a yentimi enyo enye se eso a yentimi accomplish yede ensi your determination any ahoɔden kase yɛde bɛyɛ a yɛbɛyɛ ama no aboro so. Na ansa na yɛbɛdi saa adwumadie no ɛsɛ sɛ yɛn ankasa yɛyɛ asafo yi mai yɛdi kan esiesie yɛn ho. Esan sɛ yɛbotae ne sɛ ɛnyɛ akyire yɛnkɔ abɔnten so baabi sɛ yɛkɔsi tent ne akɔka nyamesɛm. Na emo yɛn ankasa yɛn ho nkrɔfoɔ ebi a na woyɛ ɔkwanhwɛni na wokunu ɛnyɛ bia ebi a na woyɛ ɔkwanhwɛni na woyere ɛnyɛ bia ebi a wowɔ nuanom ne abusuafo bi a wonya enhunu saa han ebi a wowɔ neighbors bi a ɛbɛn wo Ghanafoɔ bi ayɔnkofo bi a ɛbɛn wo a wonam onyame asɛm so ebetime de wɔn abɛka onyame ma ho. Enti botae no ɛno no na saa adwumadie yɛhunu sɛ te sɛ asuafoɔ no yɛntumi ɛnyɛ without onyame ahonhom kronkron. Enti na no Pastor Chumasi ɛbɛkasae sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛma yɛn ho kwan ama onyame honhom kronkron aba yɛn so na aboa yɛn ama yɛtumi ayɛ saa adwuma no. Ewie aseɛ no ɔsɔfo Apia Kubi nso so ɛbae na wɔno ɔbaeɛ no ɔse ye breaki some nneɛma bi a ɛma yɛ kwan esi kwan na yɛntumi nkɔ yɛn namfonom yɛn nuanom yɛabusuafoɔ yɛ colleagues hɔ na yɛne ɔmo ɛnkɔkyɛ onyame asɛm. Saa nneɛma no a ayɛ stumbling block a ɛma yɛ kwan no ɛsɛ sɛ yɛyiyi firi hɔ. Enti ɔbɛka ho asɛm kyerɛ yɛ. Enura ɔsɔfo Boakye Dankwa nso so ɛtoa so na nana asɛm no ɛpɔ no ne sɛ yɛma yɛ acquaintances nipa a ɛbɛn yɛn ɔmo afili the importance and the relevance of the word of God. Here onyame asɛm ɛho hia ɛma nkrɔfoɔ a ɛbɛn yɛn yɛ namfonom yɛ busuafoɔ ɛne yɛ adɔfoɔ sɛ onyame asɛm ɛyɛ ade a ɛho hia yie paa. Ɛnɛ dɛmo yi nyinaa no ɛbra a me nso so maba a metoa soɔ no assignment ampanyifo de ahyɛ me nsa ne sɛ yɛma yɛ namfo letting our friends know about what Christ said concerning the times in which we are. Yɛma yɛ namfo ahunu na wate deɛ onyame ɛka yɛ ɛfa ɛbrɛ a yɛwɔ mu yi ɛho. Ɛno ɛna mebɛka ho asɛm. Enti my job is cut out for me. Asɛm a mebɛka no mpanyinfoɔ ama me asɛm po a wɔpɛ sɛ me gyina so na me ne yɛ nyinaa yɛkyɛ. Na saa preparation a yɛyɛ sɛ de bɛyɛ a yɛbɛ launch into the deep na ya kɔtɛ yi no nyame adom ne na dahoroma ɛnyɛ yɛn ya hoɔden so na ɛmo nyame ahoɔden so yɛtimi afrɛfrɛ yɛn nuanom ne yɛadɔfoɔ na yɛde wɔn aba no. Ɛsɛ sɛ yɛn ankasa yɛbene yɛn ho yɛsiesie yɛn ho yɛ avail yourself sɛ de bɛyɛ a onyame honhom kronkron ɛbɛhyɛ yɛn ma te sɛ deɛ Pentecost da no wɔhyɛ asuafoɔ no ma na Petro sɔre gyina yɛ ɛkasa yɛ na dakoro ɛma nipa mpem mmiɛnsa ɛsakra yɛ. Sɛ me nso so me ne yɛ ma yɛn ho kwan saa na onyame honhom kronkron ɛhyɛ yɛn ma yɛn nso yɛbɛtumi ayɛ adwuma no ama no aboro so. Enti na wɔtwe nyinaa no ne asɔfoɔ a ɛdi anim yɛ nyinaa no ɛnyɛ sermons bi na yɛ preach but yɛ sua deɛ sɛ deɛ bɛyɛ a yɛn a yɛkɔyɛ adwuma no yɛbɛhunu ahosiesi a ɛsɛ sɛ yɛyɔ yɛbɛhunu nea ɛsɛ sɛ yɛde kɔ abɔnten ɛkɔma yɛn nuanom ne adɔfoɔ ɛne abusuafoɔ na aboa ama adwumadie no atumi aso aba a ɛbɛyɛ onyankopɔn ɛfɛ. Enti ɛnnɛ how do we tell our friends ɔkwan bɛn so ɛna yɛka kyerɛ yɛn namfonom nea Yesu Kristo ka yɛ a ɛfa ɛbrɛ a me ne yɛwɔ mu yi ɛho. Saa asɛm no ɛyɛ relevant ana ɛyɛ relevant sɛ yɛbɛma yɛn namfonom yɛbɛma yɛn abusuafoɔ yɛadɔfoɔ nipa eben ye no ehunu se ye wo biribi mu na saa bre no a ye wo mu no ehia se obia esore na wotena ne to so yie na wosore gina ne nan so esan se eniama bi atwa ye ho ahia eniama bi ekoso a enye bra ye di dani enye bra ye di eye adidie ene onom ni enye ebra ye di ye akayo ne ye di ye kunsun ni mpapa mu ni eye bribia eye bra ehia yie pa ema ye nyina se ye besore agina na ya ye de onyame ehwehwe moma ye ma empaye ye na ja wosro ye da wase bebre niema ni nyina di adanse ye se ye no de ye de wase daka enti ene don ne bre misro se boaye na ye nti wasam wase aboa no pekoko aya wode no ho twere sie ye pe bibia hunu ye pe bibia sua enti na nopa ye jai de ye bia na ye de America abazum yiso ne lai so se ye be pe bibia sua ye nso so ebeboa yen ama adwuma wode ahye yensa no yetumi aye enti for wadom yen ma ye wasem mu entiase na ensiesie yen emma saa adwuma sone eda wase se watie ye mpaebo ewo Yesu Kristo di munti amen
Amen. So for me pacho just say wo de ko brofo ni twi ni nyina ema yen pacho.
mate
Medase.
Mene saa di amamu enti your topic essay letting our friends know about what Christ said concerning the times in which we are. Letting our friends know. Now, adia edikan no, we want them to know. So if we want them to know, what do we want them to know? Why do we want them to know? If we have to let them know, so say, there is something that has been hidden from them. And I said they are not aware of something. Nasa adienwa omunye aware of it. That very thing hidden from them. No, that is the very thing. Yen ye kro na yamasa nkro no akoye aware of it. You see, Christ said something. What did he say? He said something concerning the times. The times in which we are. Signifying now, today, the days ahead of us. Sabriya ye woman in today's world. And there we are still. What is it about this time? What is it about these days? As I say, your acquaintances, your friends, your relatives, immediate relatives, our colleagues, ehunu bibi. So the theme yebe lukuno for ene anopayini and yumreno essence say we want them to know, and we want them to know about the times, but we want them to know it from Jesus Christo point of view. The Jesus Christo ekaye eno ena ye pese sa yankrofoi ehunu. Onua bi kan sembi na semwa okaye ne se you cannot speak that which you do not know. Wankasa krano. You cannot speak that which you do not know. You cannot speak it to other people. If we are going to tell our friends, if we are going to let them know, do we ourselves know what we are going to tell them? Are we familiar with what the message we are carrying to them? Are we sure we know what we are supposed to give to them? And to say, you cannot speak that which you do not know. You cannot share that which you do not feel. So, wankasa, if you are not feeling it, you cannot share it. How excited are you about this program? Personal ministries for the Abba. How passionate are you about it? How enthused are you about it? How motivated are you, sir? You know for sure, sir, you have seen some light. The light of salvation has appeared unto you. And it is such a great news. Now, when you're great news, you don't hold it to yourself. When it comes to great news, we are not selfish because it is a news which is great, We want other people to know. When we are graduating from college, we invite our friends. We tell our colleagues, I went to school. It was difficult, but by the grace of God, I'm bringing everything to a close, a successful close. I'm about to march. So come and share in that joy with me. When we give birth and we are going to church to dedicate that baby, it is such a wonderful news. We invite our friends and our colleagues and everybody we know. Come. Adipapa biya tuye in this life. We are so excited and we are always in haste. Say your best share among Crawford at that which is good news are happening to us. But if salvation that has come to you, say Jesus Christ that you have come to know, if it is such a good news, how come you are not so excited about sharing that even with your own friends? So you cannot share that which you do not feel yourself. Pastor, any personal ministries for all kinds of programs. But if we don't bite it, if we don't accept it as our own program, if we are not excited about it, if we don't feel it in our bones, there is nowhere where I say you the desire to go and share. You cannot translate that which you do not have. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give it. Nia enya wodiano wintimini afufro enche. So what Christ said, ye pese ye could tell our friends, do we have it ourselves? Do we know it? Do we understand it? And you cannot give that which you do not possess. To give it and to share it, and for it to be effective, you first need to have it. Good communication starts with good preparation. So personal ministries, they've done what they need to do. They are very, very aggressive. And they have assembled pastors to come and energize, motivate us. They are not saying, we should go outside and pitch tents and speak for 2 months or 2 weeks. In America, we know how difficult that is. But what they are saying, they say, each and every one of us has a friend, has a relative, has a colleague. Each one of us. And they are not part and parcel of this fellowship. Some do not even know about the God that we know and serve. Some have not even heard about the Saturday worship. Some have not even heard about the great sacrifice that Christ has offered himself for us. And they want us to go to them and share with them. Tell them. But you cannot do it if you don't own it yourself. If you don't feel it. If you are not passionate about it. If you are not enthused. If you are not excited. Your programs, you will come, you will listen, and you will leave, and that will be the end of the story. So we first need to work on ourselves. And so I want to share something with you. A survey was done. And the survey was asking people how they came to know about Christ and to be part of the church. Here in America, and on the screen is the result of that survey. Those who said that they came to Christ, they joined the church because they had a special need. Therefore, people join churches. Therefore, people come to Christ because they have special needs. Needs motivate people. It instigates people to come to Christ. Only 3% said their coming to Christ was the result of a need they had. And they believed that once they came to Christ, he was going to solve their problem for them. Only 3%. Another 3% said that I was just walking around, minding my own business. And then I saw the church. The doors were open and I heard people worshiping. And then I went in and I started worshiping with them. Only 3% have joined church and come to Christ as a result of that. Another 6% said that I like the minister. I joined the Atl Ghanaian SDA Adventist Church because I like Pastor Boachi Danka. I like him personally. He's a people's person. He's a great preacher. I love to listen to him. And so I decided to join his church. Only 6%. 1% said, I visited there. A friend of mine was dedicating his child, and I visited. And that is how I decided to join the church. Only 1%. Another 5% said, I like the Bible classes. The teachings of that congregation, I like it. Only 5%. The church was organizing a gospel meeting. They were conducting a crusade. And I went to listen to them. Only 0.5% said they joined the church as a result of that. Another 3% says that I love the programs of the church. Their AY program, their men's ministries program, their women's ministries program. I like their programs, and because I like their programs, I came to fellowship. I joined the church as a result of that. Only 3%. However, a good 79% said that a friend or a relative invited me. And that is why today I am a member of this church. So programs help. Special needs bring some people. Bible classes bring some people. But the most effective method are friends inviting their friends and relatives inviting their relatives. So you have a friend and I have a friend who are down for, me what down for, who obusuani bi, me obusuani bi. Until you see Operation Loving 10 souls into the kingdom of God this first quarter. And everything we are talking about centers on how do we let our acquaintances, how do we let our friends know about this great salvation. And if we are getting out of our seats, our comfort zone, now yeah aggressive, now yeah onu sa programs yeah personal ministry for Eddie Bay any the software yeah and yebeko ye now for no chain whilst we are visiting with them, whilst we are sharing meals with them, while we are discussing politics and issues of life with them, you know, we will also gather the courage to invite them, to ask them, come with me to church. Come and visit me at church. If only we will be aggressive with that method, I'm telling you, our efforts will never be in vain. And see, your friends here, yako munchen, na yako kachiro to let them know what Christ is saying about the times in which we live, you know, very, very, very important. There was one day, yes, Christo asian for a burning chain. And Omubisani said, Yesu, what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Now, I want you to think about that. What will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Our message is to tell our friends what Jesus said about the time in which we are, the time in which we are living. Once they ask the question about your coming and the end of the age, it means that the age has an end. The time has an end. Sa end no, whenever the time is ended, whenever the age is ending, no, it is very, very important we bring it to the notice of our friends and our colleagues. And Jesus Christ had something to say about this end of age or end of time. And when Jesus was answering them about the end of that time, you know, Jesus told them, things will get worse before they got better. Things will get worse. So we need to go to our friends, our relatives, our acquaintances, and let them know that Jesus said things will get worse before they get better. Secondly, Jesus added these words. When you see things getting worse, see to it that you are not alarmed. You are not perturbed. You are not disturbed when you see things getting worse. The words of Jesus is that do not be alarmed. In fact, if you look at through the Bible, This is the only time Jesus used the word, don't be alarmed. But things will get worse. So we are supposed to go to our friends and point them to the times in which we are living. Open our eyes, open our ears. Look around you, listen to the news, watch the TV, follow events of the day, follow things that are happening all around the world. Things are getting worse, but we shouldn't be alarmed. We shouldn't. At this moment, Jesus was telling his disciples and us not to fall apart when bad things happen. So we are to go to our friends. We are to go to our neighbors. We are to go to our family members, our colleagues, and our acquaintances, and we tell them. Everybody is crying these days. Recently, the price of gas keeps going up and up and up. And all of us who are driving in America, everybody is beginning to cry. You go to the groceries and the shelves are almost empty. Since the inception of COVID, things have drastically changed. When we hear what is happening in Ukraine today, that which is affecting the entire globe, people are beginning to worry. What is it that is happening in the world? People are beginning to panic. People don't know what to do. And it is left for us. Christ has called upon us. Christ has given us some light. And he wants us to go to our friends and to our neighbors and to our people and tell them, it shall be well. It shall be well. Things will get worse before they get better. And when you see things falling around you, like dominoes falling, don't be alarmed. Don't be disturbed. Don't be disturbed. Don't allow it to tear you apart. Don't fall apart. We need to carry this message of grace, this message of hope. Because you see, these days, what are the subjects? What are the things people are talking about during dinner time? When families sit together, when friends visit with friends, what do we discuss? For us as Ghanaians, most often, we love to talk about Ghana and things that are happening in Ghana. The NPPs and the NDCs and the difficulties that people are facing in Ghana. We love to talk about these things. In America, we love to talk about the politics, the Donald Trumps, the invasion of the capital. All these things are happening during our time. Do they have any message for us? Are they telling us anything? Do you know what they are telling us? Do you know the meaning of that for yourself? Because if you do not know, how then are you going to tell your friend or your colleague anything? But Jesus had something to say about all of this. And he said things will get worse before they get better. How so? In Matthew chapter 24, 21 to 22, this is what Jesus said. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be. there will be great tribulation. And the tribulation that will come, we have never seen such since the beginning of the world. So look around you, open your ears, follow what is happening in our world today. What you hear and what you see, is it palatable? Do you like it? Open. The air course where we are seeing muneno, or kwambe sooner a fana a pusu. Now, yes, Christ, what they are saying be so. Verse 22, I say, and except those days of tribulation, except those days should be shortened. There should no flesh be saved. So when cha and nanusutia and sheya okraba konkurano yense buno. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And Jesus said, with the great tribulation, what is happening in our world today? And Yamanua, yes, so alarming, and Yamanua, yes, so disturbing, and Yama yetia yehunua, yanti bida, yehunu bida. Monshe de COVID abe ye viasi way. I changing the dynamics of everything. Okwaya ye faso okwa sorry, echo worshipokrano. COVID atimias sano. For 2 years, nani pant me kwa sorry there. Something is happening in our world. Near Ecoso Ukraine say yeah, Russia for ATS Ukraine for so do you understand what is going on? Do you even know what that war is all about? Do you? So with all of this, God has his elect, his chosen ones. Was it for their sake? For their sake, he is going to shorten the days. So you see, Jesus Christ wants us to go to our friends and neighbors and tell them, say, Christ says that he is going to cut short the days. If we are see way enter now say that it will not continue forever and ever. It is gradually falling apart at the seams. Things are crumbling. Now the elect biwum, God's chosen ones are in this world. Now say even the elect in Quran they will be lost. So we should go to them and tell them there is no more time. Because Christ has declared, he said, the time is going to be shortened. Again, Jesus told his disciples, this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world. Now, proclamation, the proclamation of the gospel that is happening around the world, it is a testimony. It is a testimony to all nations. Then the end will come, which means to say, this world has an end. So, letting our friends know about what Christ said concerning the times in which we are, Christ said, there is a time coming when everything is going to end. And your more life as if there is no tomorrow. Omo chasing after money. Any ahodeɛ, any wiase japadia are taking center stage. Are flooding your conscience, your mind so much. He said, our everything is about money, 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 how to make it. The world is coming to an end. And even in that process, Jesus has said it is going to be cut short. When? Another thing Jesus Christ said, which we need to go and tell our friends, and then he said, but of that day and the hour knoweth no man. No pastor, no so-called prophet can tell you, say, this world is going to end today or tomorrow. Nobody. Jesus said, not even the angels of heaven, but only the Father knows. So, bra, one year, it will take you by surprise. Because nobody knows. We need more. And I will play with it, but you don't know. So we ought to go to people and tell them, say, since we don't know when this whole thing is coming to an end, what we need is preparation. So you cannot live your life anyhow. You cannot continue as usual and do business as usual. You cannot worship in God in any dilly-dally way, any mamby-pamby way, CPR. Because you don't know how much time you have. You don't know when Christ is ending all of this. At least one hint I would and he said, he will cut it short. So Christ wants us to go to our friends and tell them, this is exactly what Jesus said. Since we don't know, we cannot live anyhow. We cannot do things anyhow. Let's go to our friends and whisper into their ears. Charlie, oh, Bob Bra, my friend, oh, Bob Bra, you are living your life, but be aware that there is some big tribulation ahead of us. There is a day coming. All of this is coming to an end. So what kind of preparation? Do you know Jesus? Do you know God in such a way that when all of this ends, and because he had made a promise that he will come again and receive us onto our side, when that event is happening, how sure are you, say, you are going to be part of it? Another thing the word of God says, this is not Jesus, but this is what Peter said. But the end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be serious and watchful in prayers. Because the end of all things, he didn't say some of the things, but the end of all things is at hand. And if the end of all things is at hand, it said, therefore be serious. Be serious. And when you are being serious, be also watchful. In the midst of this conundrum, in the midst of this perplexing problem, I confront you, and the Nipabi are not serious with God. As for Makurano, we are joking and playing with God. Yet the Enyam is some a diakro. But I was saying, be serious. Now, just be serious, uncle. Be watchful in prayers. Now, rain. How can a watchman sleep? If you are watching and you are sleeping now, you are defeating the purpose of the work you are doing. And in watching for something, when okase yen watch here, we are supposed to watch for something. The question is, for what? So what are we going to tell our friends to watch out for? What are we going to tell our acquaintances to be serious about? Enyumre, mepe time say, yebeto yebuase na ya go through Matthew chapter 24, what we call the Olivet Discourse. That will be what we will look at. Enyumre, but mame mpane ho kakra. The disciples questioned Jesus Christ about the end of the world. And so the end of the world, the time in which we are living, and the disciples questions Jesus about it. So whatever he told us, that is what we also need to go and tell them. And this is what Jesus said. All of this is but the beginning of birth pangs. Whether be it COVID, whether be it shortage of food, whether it be the war in Ukraine, the crisis in Ghana, all over the world, yaria yenti bida atuete say ekumakumua ekosi wo wiase a escalate, all the perplexing issues we are listening no. The entia all kachira who say, don't panic, don't be alarmed, The reason, say, this is only the beginning of birth pangs. A walk on emfitiansi no. Hey boy, asemno yasemu a emu eduru ye pa. Sir, in giving the answer, Jesus gave two analogies: birth pains and the burden of the fig tree. Examples me or say it is all the beginning of birth pains. Miniam manoa e wala yuswa sebio nyame ama omanye nsen awo no omoti ase pen. Men so mawo mami ensa. Mene me yire na wo omo. Awo process no na me so me ye part of it. In fact, America de entise Ghana mano ko wo ani apamu ema no. Aha de omo ma ye kokko hwebi. Na nyasi ye kohwem ko. Me ye trading me yesi me ye coach. Me call bibi yesi a friend Lamont's class. Na me call Lamont's class ye trading me say me ye coacher da awo beka me yire no. Me na me coach amano awo. Now you're very, very interested. Nanso so da awo ka me yire no amu of fire me. Me a ya training me as coach me bebu no. Me yire no e fire me. The entia of fire me no. Sa training no ano mo de ma ye ni nyina. When the reality sets in, when birth pains e begin, it's a different ball game. What is it about birth pains? Into yes Christo the year example. There are three things about it. Three things in any say birth pains biano ba oba biaswa. A visible, a progressive, and a climatic. The entire yes Christo, or you sue birth pains, a walk on now, or you sue the burden of the fig tree. Now, or the year example to teach them about the question they asked about when the end was going to come. Now, or say it will be visible, it will be progressive, and it will be climatic. I'm bringing my message to a close. At least for now, the yes Christ of Pesa Yako. Now Yako kachre ye nam for num about the time in which it is visible. Visible. The echoes we are seeing in ano. Obia witi we are seeing biano. Uhunu bi. Be a TV. Look in your neighborhood. Call groceries. The bia echoes will be ano. Visible emayina. Na a walk or bar. Said ye war pim so, and he said ye war coba. Now war yen no style be, maybe I know catch it or so for say a wakame, a colano yaba, na obano, na went me na no shaky, not one who said a near my bar. Now a progressive, no, a yen and say, a war, ye will be your friend and say contraction. contraction no ehya ase a ebi wo ho a eye 1 hour apart. Every 1 hour bia no na wanya contraction. Contraction no ba na wo hwe wo yire nimu a enye obi na beka kire wo se wonya contraction. Na nanimu anyinya na bibia asesa. Oha na se o go through construction no a na atiko. Ebeti akwa beye 1 hour ansa na wanya another contraction. Omuka say the contraction is 1 hour apart. But na every 1 hour apart, na about 30 minutes apart. Every 30 minutes bia no wanya contraction. Sa ubehu na every 30 minutes na aba 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes bia no wanya na every 10 minutes na about 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes bia no wanya contraction. Na every ho na about 1 minute. 1 minute bia no wanya contraction. Sa time no na ugro ne ho a obewe. Sa time no na wo ye coach a obefire wo. A progress. A visible na a progress. Contraction no a progress no. A progress sansu so a na eya dance die se enche na akwala no obeba no na oba. So when things are progressing, it means to say it is eventually reaching a climatic. Na eba na wiye ye. Enti adentina na nsen ewiase akunkum adoso. It is progressing. Adena yadiye basa pandemic ni amaniama aba. Just imagine pandemic ya eba ye, you know. Millions of people are shim or more within the space of 2 years. But therefore, it is progressing. Near Ukraine, Koswo ye nipa ewo ye destroy a whole city. Ninya mai emaninya unwango. It is progressing. But Sanya maninya progress here. Now eventually, so there is a day bia it is coming to the climatic. So climatic no. Eno na asese ye hwe ni ye. Enti Yesu Kristo pe se ye koye nuanom ho ye namfo no nchen na ye ka kire mo se don't panic. You are seeing what is happening. It is progressing. But that should tell you something. That should tell you, say, the end, you know, aben. The end in aben. What do we need to do? We cannot continue to live as usual. We cannot continue to behave as usual. We cannot continue to do church as usual. We cannot continue to evangelize as usual. We ought to watch and pray. Something is about to happen. Now, for us, dear, Unyame adasa ehinta semya di atraye. God has shown us and has given us the insight into this mystery. And it's incumbent upon us to go to our friends and neighbors and tell them what Jesus is saying about the time in which we are living. It is only the beginning. This is not the end, though. Na say even the beginning ni na ye krom ye bu baby say ye kukurumponi na ye beswa. If this is the only the beginning now, then how will the real thing nankasa be? Sa de ye hunu yet. Tribulation ni mu be yet. And that's what Jesus Christ wants us to go and whisper some to our friends and neighbors. Mempa eboni ma district dey no say you be so motivated, you be so energized, you be see the urgency of the time in which we are living. Now many ones so you carry on the mantle, the torch, you the joy. Ako woni ye nuanom say omomra meka ye ho. For the days in which we are living are the evil days, and God is going to cut it short. Nyame hye ye din, nyame hira ye. Nyame ma asemi motivate ye in a new way. Ye best sorry de mrika. Akoka bi akire ye nuanom yabusuafo ne enamfo. Onyame hira ye wo Jesus Christ di monti. Amen.
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 And
Amen.
amen. Amen.
Amen.
Osofo AFFUM nyame onhyira papa na onye wakoma so ade nyina emfamma nyame ma yɛda nyankopɔn ase papa anɔpɛyi menu mienu yaye nhyira yɛda nyame ase papa Osofo AFFUM obɛtoa so no wɔtwe pɛpɛɛpɛ ene anwumre Mr. Menyi wo hu film o ba ene wadamfo bi emra sɛde waka kyerɛ na kowiase ne kɔka kyerɛ wɔn sɛ bibi ba o ade kɛseɛ bi ba na that day no ɛbɛyɛ hu bebree nti yɛnyina wo kwefrɛ wadamfo bi na me nso menkɔfrɛ madamfo bi ne yɛnyina yɛmra mebom no wɔtwe na yɛnsa emetie enka de ɔwɔ ma yɛn nyame asɛm a ɔwɔ ma yɛn no nti saa brɛ die yɛde adwumadie no akɔ awieyɛ mpanyimfo announcement foforo bi wɔ hɔ a mobɛtumi de ama yɛn sa announcement bia ɛni hɔ de a na ɛne yɛbɛhyɛ Osofo AFFUM na wɔahyira so ama yɛn wɔahyira yɛn ansa na yakɔ ɛnkɔ ansa ba yɛn gye nhyira ansa na wɔafiri so akɔ mpanyimfo bi foforo bi ɛwɔ hɔ bibia ɛni hɔ de a ɛne